How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Ballad Singer. I did choose Anchoran again this time rather than Leon. We're going to give that another whirl. So for the prologue-y stuff, I'll probably skip through it since we've already seen that once before. I did choose Soldier instead of Champion this time. It should be a little easier to stay alive. So they're looking for someone to take on the role of being a hero. They're looking for Daragast Lyar. Anchoran is a volunteer, a tracker, a hunter to go try and find Daragast. And he has his several different ideas of where we could start looking, different intel pointing in different directions there. So we have some options of where we want to cruise around. I believe I went through the forest last time and kind of got spun around hunting through the forest. I just want to get a better look at this for a second there. We'll go to Akma. Uchma this time. We'll try a city rather than just going off willy-nilly into the woods.
It's one of the few main stops for the rebels to have a few drinks or to revel between women's thighs at the local brothels.
Oh,
however,
that's good. I was looking for some women's thighs. We didn't have nearly enough of that in previous adventures.
Covering your eyes so as not to give away your identity. The city, though it barely deserves such a name, is merely a conglomerate of wooden houses. Nevertheless,
I'm really shitting on this city. It's really
the
terrible little villa.
Might be a good place to start your mission. Walking through the alleys, it doesn't take long for you to find it. It has an eye-catching...
So is Wereboar Tavern a joke? As in, like, it's not a very exciting creature. It's not, you know, it's no werewolf or werebear or anything. It's just like a wereboar. No one really cares. Usually when people end up turning to wereboars, we just, you know, have a pig roast a few days later.
Sign. Dusk is falling, and many customers are already sitting at the tables. Normally, the music and noise would be enough to keep you.
Some of the sound mixing in this game can be a little bit off. Where, like, particularly this female narrator during these sections of the game, her voice is so much lower than the music itself. I don't know why that's so
much more comfortable in
happens so often.
You have a task at hand, so you pull yourself together and enter the hall. Since there's nowhere to sit, you head straight to the bar, where you meet the barkeep's smiling face.
What can I help you with, my dear?
Wine, please. And information. You hand him a gold coin and uncover your face. The barkeeper is quick at hiding the coin in his apron.
Fantasy barkeepers are such a lucrative position.
Seeing your face.
Getting bribed
Suddenly,
left and
someone
right.
grabs you violently and splits your lip with a punch.
We don't want any monsters here.
Man,
Squall's
very
a man
intolerant.
roughly twice your size. You have no choice. You must defend yourself.
I'm sure if you got to know me, you wouldn't think so little of me, engage in a melee fight, or just kick him in the knee. Yeah, screw this guy. He sucker punched us. We can take his knees out.
The man you're facing is quite clumsy. Since your first fighting lesson, you've been taught that the weakness of larger opponents are their legs. You surprise your adversary by kicking him in the knee. He drops to the ground, grunting painfully, but can't avoid your punch straight to the chin, which knocks him unconscious.
Pretty solid 1-2 there. I didn't know we were following it up with an uppercut.
The tavern has fallen quiet, and the bystanders are glaring at you. There must be at least 20 of them. Common sense comes to your aid, and you run from the tavern before things get worse.
Oh, there she is, kicking his knee out. That's dope. I don't know, man. If anyone saw that, they'd notice we were defending ourselves. Maybe people would be proud of us or happy for us. Like, yeah, good work. Way to stick up for yourself, lady. Oh, well, we got chased out of there crazy fast. In that case, let's go back to the forest. Have a little bit of a familiar stretch there where we've been once before.
Before you is a dark maze of trees and entangled branches. You'd rather not go into the woods now, as it's evening. But you need to find Daragast as soon as possible.
Right, we get chased by a bunch of wolves. We've seen this little stretch before. They just kind of jump out at us.
Woodland predators, the best
Fan
strategy is to
of
strike
knives.
First, and quickly. You can't show any fear. You unsheathe your knives with both hands and hurl them in one...
And then we wreck them very handily because they're just a bunch of dumb wolves. And we have cool-ass knives. So suck on that, wolves. You best get out of here. Tails between your legs. And now we just have to choose our path. I feel like the last time we chose one of the two of them and it just looped us back around anyways. I feel like the path in this particular instance doesn't matter a whole lot. We'll give it a whirl.
What the fuck? You're almost there when suddenly you feel the stones move under your feet. A contraption goes off to your right, leaving you no time to react. A swarm of wooden spikes jab at your tender flesh. Whoever lives in the cabin must be extremely cautious and probably set up some traps. A wooden grid with spikes hits you right on. You're not dead yet, but you can feel your life force leaving you. Your adventure ends here.
I was pretty damn confident that it didn't matter which one of those I chose. I am just terrible at this game, aren't I? I get 9 total options, chances when you play on easy mode there.
The best strategy is
we'll take the safe path this time, I think. I'm not going to risk taking the same one.
It keeps changing its course. You're afraid you might run into more wolves, or perhaps some other nocturnal creatures.
No, keep going. Because if we go back and take the other path, we'll die again, right? So we'll keep going. I'm pretty sure we had done this prior. This seems
your perseverance
familiar.
Pays off. You almost didn't expect to see the cabin's light again. You've arrived directly on the opposite side.
Right, blind old woman has been expecting you. Very ominous, as per usual. She is a seer, giving us a little bit of intel. He no longer goes by the name Daragast, so I'll be looking for someone a little bit different. We're told to go to Rost. We've seen this stretch all before. I feel like things went south real fast once we headed to Rost, though. This blacksmith is more than likely Daragast himself. Calm down, I didn't mean to tick you off. I'm a friend, no ill intentions. Listen, old man, tell me where I can find Daragast or I'll kick it out of your ass. That's a weird way to threaten it. I'll kick your ass, or... It's just a particularly strange way to phrase it. We're good at kicking knees, though. We're good at kicking things. He doesn't know that, but if he did, he would be much more wary of the potential there. I would rather take the safer, calmer approach to this conversation, I think. I see no need to go off the rails. The blacksmith looks down
and continues his work.
The man you're looking for left long ago. I don't think he shall ever be back.
If Daragast should ever show up, tell him he can find me in the Ismaran forest with Raymond.
Yes. We've done all this before. It really seems like this little section of Ankaran's story, you either fail, die, get spun around, and then just pointed back to this moment. I guess things could have gone better in that first town if I had just had like a small little scrap with him rather than kicking his knee and uppercutting him. Maybe that would have played out differently. But otherwise, it all just pointed me to here anyways, which then in turn points me towards Leon's story. So it's kind of weird the way it makes me start repeating all this shit. And now, we've already done this a few times. I feel like we know well enough what we're doing, so I'm just going to like cruise my way through some of the simple parts of it until we get the book.
To go after the book of blood magic.
Skipped through things, went and got ourselves a sweet book. I wonder if we go down the relic path again, if there should only be that like one remaining answer for the Banshee, right? Oh, but also we were like led astray by the Blood Rock before, so let's take the non-Blood Rock this time. This will be a new step in this journey.
After some major effort and a few hours work, Leon retrieves the jewel. Weirdly enough,
that's good. Saves us from the Banshee battle.
Weren't inside the tomb, a fact which leaves Leon quite astounded. He takes the silver pendant. The medallion is divided into 3 sections. 2 contain a red liquid, whereas the third is still empty, ready to receive more blood. Leon must now learn to master this type of magic. He's fascinated and can hardly wait.
Getting all giddy about blood magic. Is it our own blood? Is that what this pendant is waiting for? Is for us to master blood magic and contribute our power? Now we're just left searching for the dragon. Something I was putting off because I thought it would be a good way to get just ruined.
Leon decides to head to Laganasa.
Without hesitation.
The cold desert is an inhospitable region inhabited only by outlaws. Its border is marked by an imposing metal fence. No one has ever been able to climb over it. Several
As far as I can tell, there's nothing particularly magical, mystical, no enchantments on this fence. It's just big. It's just a big fence. But no one's ever made it over.
Are placed along it, evenly spaced, with hosts
just
of
use
soldiers.
One of your tornado jumps,
Each
Leon.
troop is numbered. The changing of the garrison takes place, but once a year. A patrol sees Leon and stops him. They warn him against heading across the border alone. Leon tries to pull rank as a sorcerer, meaning to persuade them to let him through.
Do sorcerers just
Instead,
always
the soldiers
people?
surround him and escort him to the highest ranking officer.
And this is?
The cap.
He's the highest ranking because he's the highest in stature. That's just how they organize things back in these days. Skill, knowledge, wisdom, all that set aside. It's just strictly based on height.
He wouldn't say.
One of the soldiers replies.
Talk then, or I'll lock you up.
Attack? Irritated? That's a terrible idea. Let's, we can lie our way through a questionnaire if need be, but we should at least
I'm a wizard
try
of
to answer.
Balinor.
He speaks. What brings you so far from home?
My business is none of your concern.
You arrogant fool. I'll have you whipped before I'll throw you in the cell. Now answer my questions.
What if I don't like
The
being
captain of
threatened?
the guards is infuriated, and Leon doesn't like orders. The wizard must now decide whether to submit and start answering, or to attack.
I'm tempted to attack, but I feel like it's a good way to die. Unleash a fire wave all around him, summon a bundle of roots to strangle the others. That's the most gruesome way, it seems. Discharge an air blade to behead the soldiers. At least it would be quick, but it would be very messy. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm on a secret mission on the wizard's behalf. That's just likely to raise a bunch of questions, right? More questions, aggravate people a little bit. I think I'd rather not try to kill everyone, though. That seems like quite aggressive. How many other people are in the room here? There's the captain and 4 guards. I bet you he could waste them. But I'm gonna try. Is this just telling me that I will be imprisoned if I take this action? I'd like to try to not kill everyone immediately. It seems a little goddamn
no secrets
aggressive.
here at the border. Arrest him. Let's see if a few days in jail will get him to talk.
Alright, well now let's try and kill them, maybe. But what happens if I just get thrown in jail? I'd be interested. They won't let me die in jail, right? Maybe I'll, like, meet someone else interesting. Maybe there'll be another person stowed away in jail.
Leon finds out firsthand that compliance doesn't always pay off. He's tied, gagged, and brought down to the dungeon.
Well, that sucks. That didn't last
A
long.
dreadful smell climbs up his nostrils.
I thought we'd meet
He's
someone
left
and
there
just
alone
escape.
for many days. Time does not matter anymore, as he waits for food and water that will never come. He lay on the cell's floor, dying, as a guard comes to question him. He's wheezing and can hardly breathe. Finally, silence takes over.
These are just terrible interrogators. You probably want the person to live if you have questions to ask them. That's their fault, not mine. It's not my fault for being weak-willed and dropping dead in the cell. It's stupid of them to send me there in the first
Leon
place.
is outraged by the power play taking place. He decides to act upon getting rid of his audience.
Should have just killed everyone right away. And now I'm all pissy about how poorly I was treated in their dungeon that I'm going to go with the most violent way of killing them. I'm going to strangle them with roots, which is just gruesome.
Leon is fast, and the soldiers have no time to react.
Don't know where the roots
his
came from.
hands
We're
are
in a
as
building.
quick as his tongue, and he unleashes the spell. Despite the devastating effects on his opponents, he is safe. The sorcerer smugly smirks. The maimed bodies of the foolish men lie on the ground, the smell of blood and guts beginning to taint the stale air of the barracks.
Leon's not a great dude. Smugly smirking at these strangled soldiers. Great alliteration, at least. He proceeds exploring the territory and laying waste to everyone on the land, because apparently
Leon
he enjoys
explores
it.
the area. The ground is black, as if covered by volcanic ashes, and the climate is much colder than that of Kelsinar. Under a matte gray sky, dark sand and desolation goes on as far as the eye can see. Walking his tedious path, he chances upon a lonely traveler. The two spot each other from afar, but do not try to avoid the inevitable encounter. The traveler has scaly skin, and a forked tongue darts in and out of his mouth as if he were a snake. He stops in front of
he
Leon.
literally is a lizard person. It's not like he's like a snake. He is.
He asks, "Someone very dangerous if you get in my way. A friend, if you choose to trust me."
I don't know, man. You murder a lot of people.
Is
Leon Munar. You may have heard of me. The other doesn't reply. His eyes open wide, and he
Man,
falls
I
to
wish
his
I
knees.
had that amount of clout that I could just be
Now
like, you might have
recognize
heard of
you.
me.
Your fame and your past precede you. I am Therion, your humble servant.
Immediately, the guy just goes to servitude.
Leon asks him to
Didn't
explain.
stand his ground for even a second.
Everyone knows of the last great wizard able to dominate the elements.
Leon's a bit of a big
What
deal.
brings you here?
I have my reasons. I should kill you for the mere fact you have seen me. But perhaps I won't. Leon's threat
You
sparks
haven't
fear
killed
in
everyone
Therion,
who's seen you. I
startling
guess
him.
you're trying to
I am sure
get some
you'll
fear.
find me useful if you spare me.
The wizard seems to mull over the plea and decides to test him. I'm looking for the dragon who dwells in these lands. Do not question me, just answer, as I have no time to lose.
You need to head north, my lord. You'll find a black hill surrounded by bones.
Makes sense.
There, you'll find a cave. That's where the reptile lives. No one dares approach it.
This
If
guy
you have-
is, I can't remember the word for biologist who studies snakes right now. Herpetologist? This lizard creature is no herpetologist, that's for sure. It's saying that he's like snake-like. Okay, man, you're clearly a lizard person. He's calling the dragon reptilian. I mean, probably accurate, but like not that precise. I don't know. It's kind of weird the way you're throwing around these terms
Spoken the
interchangeably.
truth.
They are very
Wait
distinctly
for me in
different.
the city
you know?
of Snelfos. I'll reward you fairly. If you are lying, however, I will seek you out and I will kill you. How will I cross the border, though? It's under surveillance.
Barracks number 7 is empty.
It feels like we milked a lot of information out of this guy, and then our only option is to just take it all on faith and just go ahead with it. We don't want to test the waters a little bit, see what may or may not be true. Without adding anything else, Leon resumes his walk to the location divulged by the creature. Like, we didn't have to do anything. That just played itself out entirely.
After some time,
At least we didn't die.
Leon finds the hill surrounded by bones, just as the Snake Man had described it.
Snake
the
Man.
glacial cold is in sharp contrast with the burnt color of the dragon's lair. A strange feeling grips Leon's stomach, but he doesn't give in. He knows which way to go. A nauseating smell
That's
comes
convenient
straight
for me,
from the
not having
cave's
to
center.
choose.
There, he finds a huge reptile, curled up and resting. It is motionless, snoring blissfully. This is the moment of truth. Here, Leon could find a powerful and nearly invincible ally.
Seems like it would end the game pretty damn abruptly if all of a sudden, like this quickly, we just have a dragon as a buddy. I can't really see how we would lose finding an ally that quickly, finding a dragon ally that quickly. Ooh, last time this happened though, we had to battle the Banshee, and that did not go well for us whatsoever. So I'll probably plan to be a little more cautious this time around, because this thing looks scary as hell. The dragon. Hopefully,
The wizard decides
I can
to
pull
step
things
into
together
the cave,
here.
and an eye is soon upon him. The dragon rises abruptly, spreading its mighty wings that take up the entire den.
He looks
It roars and bellows a flame upwards. The dragon is imposing. Next to it, Leon is merely an ant. Its back is covered in scales, while its belly resembles that of a snake, slimy and gross.
You gross.
Leon's
Gross dragon.
gaze
Gross
follows
snake
the coils
belly
of
dragon.
fire as they rise. He notices that the hill's ceiling is open to the
I
sky.
just like the comparison of like, he's enormous, the size of the cave, the mountain itself, his hideous scales crawling down his back, his furnace of a mouth bellowing with flames, and then his stomach is kind of gross. It kind of undercuts how intense everything else is
allowing
made
the
out to
creature
be.
to come and go as it pleases. A primal fear grips the wizard's heart, but his determination prevails. The situation is critical, and he must act now.
Let's see. Hill's ceiling is open to the skies. Attack the dragon with a blast of water. Conjure a wall of water to shield himself from the dragon's first strike. It seems like the dragon is like all over us right now. If we just attack him, it's kind of a matter of who gets there first. It might be better to go on the defense, because like we are not getting a surprise attack or anything here. I think I'm going to try and protect myself with water.
The wall of water conjured by Leon shields him from the blast of fire, confusing the dragon. Leon must seize this moment
handle that
and decide whether to hurl a volley of water blasts at its head to knock it out without wounding it, or to block the movement of its limbs by summoning roots from the ground.
I don't think you want to go for the finishing strike that quickly. I think this thing, if it's confused, is going to panic, start thrashing around, and like club us. I think we want to restrain it. What's up with that? What was with the way that it like locked in the choice
Leon's
like that?
idea isn't a bad one. Despite its size, the animal can no longer move. This allows the wizard to enter the dragon's mind. As he tries this, however,
Wrestling with his
the sorcerer notices that the strength of the beast's paws are allowing it to unravel the cage of roots. He needs to give up on his attempt to overpower the dragon's mind and find another solution quickly.
That was working though. The dragon's kind of incapacitated and distracted. We have a lot to work with. Try to freeze the dragon by creating an ice storm. That seems aggressive. Water elemental, I'm not so sure. Spikes from the ground as spears. I don't want to kill this thing. If you freeze it, we could like slow its movements and everything. I feel like it would just crush the water elemental. I don't think the water elemental would be able to stand its ground at all. Is it just showing me that I'm like committing to these choices, that I can't go back at all?
And the dragon collapses to the ground.
Nicely
exhausted.
done, Leon.
Leon approaches the reptile and lays a hand on its snorting snout. Leon gathers a state of utmost concentration as he was taught by the wizards of Amarin. He exploits his telepathic abilities to sneak into the mind of the now tame beast. He conveys the message.
Creeping into his dreams, Freddy Krueger style.
The dragon is confused, and the wizard manages to flatter it quite easily. Despite its colossal size and devastating power, it is still just a simple-minded animal.
Oh, I was wondering if it was intelligent.
Even though Leon has gained control over the dragon, he can't take advantage of all its talents just yet. Therefore, he decides to go back to pursue the other aspects of his plan. Now that he's established a lasting bond, he'll be able to summon the beast to his side whenever he shall want.
Seriously? It was that simple to have that strong of a connection with the dragon that we can summon him anytime we want now? That was very badass. Great work. Oh, whoa. We're only just now seeing the prologue's end? I did not realize we were just in the prologue that entire time. Oh my god, how many separate independent deaths did we find? That makes a lot more sense why we were repeating these same things over and over again. We never made it through the goddamn prologue. Daragast, the Bard Warrior, is suddenly available, and now Anselimo, I know his name has come up once before, and Ankelimo, I don't remember exactly how the hell we're supposed to pronounce this dude's name. I do just kind of want to read about them a little bit, and then we'll go in, just dive straight into the adventure like the next time we come back. So it is saying, I believe it's saying he is a challenging story. His combat, I don't know what that means. He's better with one sword than two. He's better with two swords than one. He's got these little daggers. He's better with daggers than swords, maybe. His potential opponents is more likely to be people than mystical, I think. Fame throughout Hesperia, probably not very much, and his starting alignment seems to be a little bit more evil. Let me, yeah, I just wanted to tip that and see how it works for other, how that is laid out otherwise. Yeah, his fame is crazy, he's challenging, high combat, potential opponents are everything. Oh wait, I think I read all that right. Ankelimo is a methodical and calculating elf, a soldier who takes care of the dirty work. When he's assigned a mission, he knows no limits. He's an old acquaintance of Leon. I believe it's the bald dude we found in the bar that one time. Cunning and stealthy, he excels in fights using daggers and other short-range weapons. He has a wide array of throwing knives at his disposal, and wrist crossbow for wider ranges. He's a natural-born killer who has learned to keep feelings out of his life to better achieve his mission. His detachment is due to a cruel and violent past. As Ankelimo, your adventure will be rich of deceptions and moral dilemmas. Wickedness, more often than not, is not innate. It is kindled by external causes, events which were truly devastating in Ankelimo's life. I feel like the prologue was probably very specifically meant to play out in one exact precise way, and from here on out, our path of storytelling is going to be much more free-form, loose, choose our own shit a lot more. That's my hope, at least. I feel like the prologue was set in stone. There was only one real way where things were ever going to work, and we only had the 2 characters. Now we have 4 characters, probably much more branching paths. I feel like I'm starting to think that's how it's more likely to play out. Is it saying he's skilled in both? He's just a high combat skill all over, and he's one of the most good aligned. He's pretty similar to Anchoran. Very similar, in fact. Daragast is a middle-aged warrior bard and was one of the greatest swordsmen of the continent, if not the best, nicknamed the Snake, or the Dragon, or the Reptile, or the Lizard Man, or the Iguana, or the Komodo. They are all interchangeable. He's a famous musician, but has hidden in the shadows for several years. As one of Leon's former tutors, he has protected him and saved his life. Due to some tragic events, he has left the past behind to create a new, simpler life. An expert of the rapier, he was a champion of the arenas both in exhibition matches and in merciless gladiatorial fights to the death. He shows his enemies no mercy. He has yet to find anyone, warrior or magician, able to defeat him. As Daragast, who will face an adventure brimming with sword fights, the strategies you'll adopt and the accurate choice of fencing attacks will be fundamental to proceed in your quest. Oh shit, you actually have to, like, choose when to parry or enquentada. I feel like I picked that up from I Love You Man or something. I don't know if that's a real fencing term or if I butchered the pronunciation. Make good use of his incredible fighting skills and let Daragast Lyar's name echo in the ages to come. Very cool. I don't know exactly which one we're going to choose, but I feel like for the first time we have much more possibility open to us, so it's a good thing we stuck through things here. I hope you guys are enjoying the game so far. I hope you're excited for the possibilities that we now have open in front of us. Maybe I'll leave it for a window and give you guys the opportunity to say who I should pick up post-prologue here. So I won't record again immediately. I'll leave a gap in recording here so that you guys can help me choose who you'd like to see the most. I have my own personal preferences, but I think it would be more interesting to let you guys have a bit of say in that. Maybe the next time I play this, I even Twitch stream it or something so that we can make decisions together. I'll have to give that more thought, because I'll have to put a lot of effort into making sure the audio is mixed well, so that you can hear me and the game and everything. So, needs more thought, but that could be potential. That could be a lot of fun to make the decisions together. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.